LGBTQ plus choir. OP, please, whatever you do not leave the choir. It sounds like it's fantastic. You're with a great bunch of people, and the only reason you may not be enjoying it for this one period of time is because of this one entitled person. I mean, come on, it's an LGBTQ plus choir. The whole point of it is being open with each other, you know, and accepting about, you know, your sexuality. I don't get it. I just don't get it at all. If anything, surely it should be the entitled person that gets kicked out and not you having to leave. Seriously, it should be obvious to everyone. Look, no one wants to kick anyone out of a group. Let's be fair enough on that. It's not a nice thing to do. But if they're the person that is causing other people like yourself to leave because you can't stand being in the same group as them, then unfortunately, they're the ones that need to go. And I just hope the rest of the members of your choir see that and actually, you know, make sure that you're not the one that leaves and that it's actually the other way around in the end. Now moving on to our second story. She tried to invite a no-contact guest. For some context, my family's a little awkward. I'm limited contact with my mum due to years of abuse towards me, physical and emotional, and I'm
Education designed for the last century is so old school, but Eastern Gateway Community College is your accelerated, affordable path to the 21st century workforce. On campus, online, or blended class options, hands-on or contactless, Eastern Gateway's programs and course offerings are expansive, whether you're upskilling your career to the next level or right out of high school. Eastern Gateway's affordability helps you limit or eliminate student debt. Eastern Gateway, building America's 21st century workforce.
fully no contact with my younger sister due to her being, well, a terrible person in general. Hateful, super homophobic, thinks people in the LGBT community choose to be victims because they like being treated badly, that being gay is a choice, that LGBT people don't deserve to be treated like actual people, etc. These are all things that she said to me, a member of said community. And my mum knows this. What a start to this story, my god. So a couple of days ago, my amazing future mother-in-law wanted to take me dress shopping to get ideas for a wedding dress, along with my cool older sister. We debated whether or not to invite my mum, eventually deciding that the drama of not inviting her would be worse than anything she could do. We were waiting for my mum at a restaurant to meet up with her before dress shopping. And that's when I got a call from my older sister. She said, "You might want to let mum know you don't want your younger sister coming with. She just said she's invited her." I hung up and called my mum, starting out with, "No, my sister is not coming." And she immediately started in with a whining voice, making her voice sound like she was going to cry, begging me with phrases like, "But why?" and "Can't you just get along for me?" And "I know you had an argument." Yes, she called my younger sister, saying all those things to me a simple argument. But can't you just move past it? And I already told her those topics are off limits. I don't see the big deal. I kept repeatedly saying no, but she kept getting worse, her voice getting whinier, pleading with me, and acting like I was ruining her entire day by not letting my younger sister come with. Finally, I snapped and said, "No, Mum, she is not coming." There was a beat of silence. Then, in the saddest, most dejected crocodile tear sounding voice I've ever heard, she replied, "Fine, okay, I'll be there in a bit." Thankfully, that was the end of it. She arrived, we ate, she was cordial, but oh my god, the Lion, the Witch, and the audacity of this... That's very good, by the way. She was only invited by a slim margin. Then she just turned around and tried to invite someone I'm no contact with behind my back? Yeah, there's a reason I'm limited contact with her. Yikes. Well then, a little bit of an LGBTQ+.
You're like my best friend.
Track and field is 40% physical and natural ability, and 60%, which is the mental aspect. From high school to collegiate to professionals, I think everybody struggles with that a little bit. Most people fail when that self-doubt shows up. Your goal is to brush the demon away and surround yourself with the positivity. I saw all my good friends making those USA teams at the age of 14, 15, and 16. I wasn't able to make my first USA team till I was 21. If you're able to have the self-discipline, if you're able to train and stay healthy and figure out ways to get better, the results are going to show on the track.
Grant Holloway creates separation. He crosses the finish.
We just set a world record in February.
7:29, a new world record.
Everybody thinks once you set a world record, you're done. I love to surround myself with great, like-minded people because we all have that common goal. You're not trying unless you're failing. And if you do fail trying to achieve that goal, that means you're trying to achieve something. I want to make sure I'm in a position where I can take care of everything now. So as I get older, I'm able to leave the sport, say, okay, I did everything. And then on top of that, be able to take care of my kids and go to practices, recitals. And I want to make sure their parents are set, my kids' kids are set. I take pride of being the CEO of my own company, Grant Holloway Entertainment, Grant Holloway Industries, whatever you want to say it, because this is my future. How do you want to be seen in the limelight? When I first started this sport, I didn't have nothing. Now that I have an opportunity to really showcase who I am as a person, it's a different feeling. You know, you have that little confidence. You're able to walk with your chest held high. You look good, you feel good, you run good. I think it just goes down the list. I'm blessed to be able to say I'm a world record holder, world champion, American record holder. I mean, the list can go on and on and on and on and on, but until we get that medal around our neck and we hearing the national anthem, it's not over. Only so many more check marks I could check off.
Last theme to this video. Hope you guys are enjoying it. It's very strange that two sisters can be obviously related and hate each other so much to the degree that this sister, OP's sister, well, to be fair, it's not even OP, is it? It's just her sister. Like, OP's a completely normal person. Seems pretty nice to me. Her sister's just off the rails. How can you be that mean and horrible and abusive towards your own sister? I don't get it. Especially, like, obviously, like, when you're kids, you might fight and stuff, but actually saying those horrible, abusive things about someone's sexuality, your sister's, it's unbelievable. I can't really understand what you would gain from that. I mean, she must genuinely believe the things she's saying because they're so outlandish that you wouldn't just say them for a bit of chat, would you? Or to make a joke. Just a horrible, abusive person. I'm sorry, OP, that is your sister. And to be fair to your mum, whilst you're obviously still limited contact with her for a reason, I think she should probably understand that you don't want to see your younger sister, who's the most horrible person that it sounds like ever existed. Because, come on, she's just horrible about everything that you stand for and that you are as a person. I get it that your mum obviously wants her two daughters to be friends, but after all the years of your younger sister abusing you, she should probably see that that's not gonna happen. And now moving on to our final story of today's episode. You need your ADA compliant stool, but I'm tired. For some background, I'm a cashier at my local Wally World. Most of the time, the people that I work with are really nice, and management is great. However, due to the nature of my store, we occasionally get some crazy people. This happened about a year ago at my store, just before the shutdowns and mask wearing. Additionally, I have a rare muscular disability, so I have a stool that I purchased that I use while I'm working. While I can walk short distances and stand for short periods of time, I get in a lot of pain if I do it for a while. I do have a wheelchair, but I typically don't use it at work, since I don't walk too much at my lane and the stool is a lot less bulky. I also typically work a small, belted self-checkout lane. Now for the story. So I'm working at my typical self-checkout lane when Karen comes to check out with a mountain of groceries. This woman already looks like a typical Karen, complete with the haircut and everything. However, I don't like to judge people based on their appearances, so I greet the Karen warmly and with a smile. Hello, how are you? I'd be better if this store wasn't so freaking confusing. I couldn't even find the gift cards. What kind of a store doesn't have gift cards? I noticed that there was a gift card stand right next to my checkouts. I've got a stand right over here, if you'd like one. The Karen was looking at her phone. Good. Get me 2 Chick-fil-A $10 cards. And hurry, I'm so tired of standing. Now I knew that although it wasn't ideal, I could walk that far. Of course, just a moment, I say. I walk over to the stand, grab the gift cards, and come back to Karen putting my stool off to the side and sitting on it. Good, you're back. Ring up my stuff and tell me when you're done. I need to call my mother. I was dying on the inside because it's a self-checkout, but I didn't want to be yelled at any further. Mom, I'd be happy to help you scan your items, but I need my stool in order for me to do that. Excuse me? I'm a paying customer. I'm tired and I want to sit. Now do as I say or I'll get you fired. My legs are starting to shake at this point, and the pain is beginning in my knees and ankles. Mom, I have a physical disability and I use that stool to avoid getting hurt. If I stand for too long, I get in a lot of pain. Well, I had to stand for hours to get all of this, and you're probably faking your disability so you can sit. Just check me out. Now, my nice supervisor, who must have heard all of the commotion, comes over and sees that I'm standing, and obviously in a lot of pain. Hey OP, what's going on? Why aren't you sitting on your stool? Finally, a manager. Your stupid employee won't ring up my stuff, and she's wanting me to give her my stool so she can sit on her freaking lazy butt. It was at this point that my legs give out and I fall to the ground, crying in pain. OP, are you okay? My supervisor goes on his walkie-talkie and calls a code that means an employee is injured. Oh, don't be so dramatic. She's obviously faking it. Mom, she has a physical disability and needs that stool. Not to mention that you're at a self-checkout. If you want a cashier to check you out, you should head over to our staffed registers. But I don't want to wait in that line. At this point, the manager of our store has come practically running from the back. What has happened here? Does she need an ambulance? I shake my head no, still crying. Meanwhile, Karen starts snapping at the manager. Hello, I still need someone to ring me up. My ice cream is going to melt. Mom, we have an emergency with our employee. We need to help her first. Once this has all been settled, I'll gladly help you. She's faking it. And besides, she's too fat for this stool anyways. Mom, get out of the store or I will call security. You do not get to talk about my employee like that. You have to check me out. It's the law. Leave now. The Karen then starts screaming at my manager that we clearly don't know who she is or what she can do to us if we don't check her out immediately. During her rants, my nice manager, finally having heard enough, turns to the supervisor. Supervisor, call security. He nods and calls for them on his walkie. Karen then shrieks even louder, demanding the number for corporate so that she can report how horrible this store is at customer service. Security shows up quickly, and they almost drag Karen out of the store. The manager and supervisor make sure I'm okay and tell me to take the rest of the day off, fully paid. They then call my mum, who comes to pick me up and take me to the urgent care just to be sure. Now, I'm fine, but they give me a note to take some time off to rest. Later, I was told that the Karen was banned from the store. Moral of the story? Don't mess with disabled people's accommodations. I'm sorry, but the fact that that moral even needs to be written down by OP is actually shocking. Who would ever mess with a disabled person's stuff? It's honestly unbelievable. I actually got quite into that story, taking the role of Karen. I was getting pretty loud. I had to calm myself down halfway through, but honestly, that story is just baffling. Incredible scenes again. 3 very, well, ridiculous stories in this one, to be honest. I don't really know which one was worse. They were all pretty terrible. I mean, actually, guys, comment down below. Who do you reckon was the worst Karen out of the 3 we saw? I have to go with the second one, because that younger sister, like, her morals and her viewpoints on life are just honestly shocking, but the other 2 weren't that great either, let's be honest. Let me know down below. Comment who was the worst one. Anyway, guys, that is going to do it for this episode of r/entitled parents. It's definitely up there. These 3 Karens, my God, they're definitely up there on the Richter scale of who's the most explosive, that's for sure. If you do want some more from me right away, do check out a couple of videos on